though.
That's how you bounce back, baby. Consistency.
Every time they made a run, we answered. We stepped up to the challenge. Our defense, we were in there. We self-corrected when we needed to. All right, we communicated on the floor, multiple levels of effort. We were connected on both ends of the floor.
After back-to-back embarrassing losses to teams they were expected to beat, the Indiana Fever returned to Gainbridge Fieldhouse to face the Atlanta Dream, with fans and critics alike wondering if this team was unraveling. Caitlin Clark had just come back from injury. Rumors were swirling about heated exchanges with Coach Stephanie White, and the tension from Brittney Griner's controversial comments in their last matchup still lingered. But what happened on that court wasn't just a win, it was a statement. The Fever didn't just defeat the Dream, they dominated them, 99-82, in a performance that reminded everyone exactly why this squad has championship potential. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a comment. I've got the Fever. Let's go.
Man, I think that everyone saw that we kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game. And so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now. We know what the potential of this team can be, but we can't think about that. You really have to take day to day and stuff that worked here, we need to carry it over to tomorrow's game. We have a lot of games coming up in I think like 7 days or whatnot. And so it's mentally making sure that we're good. It's physically making sure we're getting recovery, making sure we're taking care of our bodies off the court. But we're trying to figure it out. And I think you guys see it. I think we're all a little frustrated.
Picture this. The Indiana Fever had just suffered 2 losses in games they were expected to control. And suddenly fans were questioning whether the team was coming apart at the seams. The defeats to the LA Sparks and the Golden State Valkyries weren't just losses. They were red flags signaling deeper issues within the roster. The unraveling began when Caitlin Clark went down with a groin injury, and Dairis Danas temporarily left to represent Brazil's national team. With key players missing, the entire lineup was thrown into chaos. Established rotations were shuffled. Players who found their rhythm were moved out of position, and nothing seemed to click anymore. The frustration was obvious, and it showed on the court every single night.
Alluded to it earlier, but how difficult has it? Does it feel like you guys have had to toggle back and forth between identities with like Caitlin out, Caitlin's back, Caitlin out now, back and forth sort of thing?
Yeah, and it's no one's fault. I mean, no one wants to see anyone injured, right? And it's when she is playing with us, we play a different style of basketball, and it's almost like 2 different teams, right? When she's with us, you play a different style. When she's hurt, which hopefully she's done being hurt, Lord, please hear us. And then we play a whole nother different style. But I do think that once we catch rhythm with her in, we're going to be really, really good. But we can't just keep saying it. You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Coach Stephanie White wanted a slow, methodical style of basketball, grinding out possessions and controlling the tempo. But Caitlin Clark was pushing for a fast-paced offense that would highlight her elite court vision and passing skills. This wasn't just a small disagreement. It was a fundamental clash over the team's identity. At times, it felt like the Fever were playing as 2 entirely different teams depending on whether Clark was on the court. The friction reached a boiling point during the losses to teams they should have handled easily. Players seemed lost in their roles, and the crisp, unselfish ball movement that once defined the Fever had completely vanished. Clark's shooting slump only made matters worse. She hit just 28.9% from the field and a dismal 11.4% from beyond the arc over 5 games. Then came the real turning point. Reports of heated exchanges between Clark and Coach White during practices. These weren't quiet coaching talks. They were loud, intense arguments about strategy and player roles that echoed through the gym. The tension was growing by the day, and it became clear to everyone that something had to change before the team completely unraveled.
They're a great team, the Valkyries, but it's not to our standard. And so we're running out of time, to be honest. And I think that it's going to light a fire under our butts. And so hopefully you'll see kind of that energy shift tomorrow.
What happened next in the game against the Atlanta Dream was a defining moment. One that could either salvage the Fever season or send it spiraling for good. The pressure was on, and the stakes had never been higher. This wasn't just about winning a basketball game anymore. It was about proving whether the team could rise above its internal turmoil and rediscover the chemistry, focus, and fight that champions are made of.
trying to figure out what's clicking, what's not clicking, what works for us defensively. But at the end of the day, I think what we can hang our hat on is not getting outworked, making sure that we're the aggressors, making sure that we're getting boards, controlling what we can control. And I think we need to do a better job at that. And if we can do that, I think stuff offensively will open up for us.
You won't believe what went down in the locker room at halftime. The heated exchange between Caitlin Clark and Coach Stephanie White that was never meant to reach the public. The first half against Atlanta had gone off script, and the frustration was obvious on both ends of floor. The Fever looked disjointed yet again, battling the same problems that haunted them in their previous humiliating losses. Tensions were rising, and it was clear that something had to shift, and fast.
There were people at the game that have told me that this happened and they saw it. So, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White were having a heated discussion at halftime.
Sources close to the team revealed that Caitlin Clark didn't hold back during the halftime break. She voiced her frustrations openly, calling out specific players and pushing for changes in the rotation. According to reports, Clark directly told Coach Stephanie White that Kelsey Mitchell and Alyssa Smith should be benched because they weren't moving the ball. This wasn't a casual suggestion. It was a pointed critique of the team's offensive execution and a bold challenge to the players she felt were stalling the flow of the game.
Word in the street is Caitlin Clark told White to sit Kelsey Mitchell and Howard because they don't pass. Could be true. Caitlin went to tie her shoe. Like, that is something that I noticed. Like, Caitlin literally, when Natasha Howard had the ball, she didn't even look. She was basically walking back on defense. She essentially walked back on defense every time Natasha Howard had the ball. And by the way, if you guys didn't see Natasha Howard looked off Caitlin Clark to end the third quarter. She looked off Caitlin Clark to end the third quarter in what was just incredibly dumb.
The exchange became so intense that players could hear Ray's voices coming from the coaching area. Everyone in that locker room knew this was a make-or-break moment. The tension was palpable, thick enough to cut with a knife, and it was clear that something big was about to unfold. This wasn't just a routine coaching talk. It was a fiery confrontation that would shape the trajectory of the entire season.
Look, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White clearly like and respect one another, right? But that doesn't mean they always see eye to eye. And I am beginning to suspect more and more that there's a bit of a divide between the way that they see the game and the way that they think the Indiana Fever should play.
What set this conversation apart was that Caitlin Clark wasn't just venting. She was stepping up with clear solutions and displaying the leadership that's made her a star. She identified exactly what was disrupting the team's offensive rhythm and had the courage to confront it head-on with her coach. In that moment, Stephanie White faced a pivotal decision: stick with her original game plan and hope things turn around, or trust her star players' instincts on what the team needed to win. The beauty of that moment was seeing two fierce competitors, both driven by the same goal, come together to find a path forward.
You can just hear what they have to say and connect the dots a little bit. Not to mention, it didn't go well against the Golden State Valkyries. That was obvious to everybody, of course. Just a rough performance from the Fever. And on its own, that wouldn't be that big a deal. Clark just back, getting her acclimated, all those things. But it's these repeated statements or this issue that seems to be lingering under the surface when it comes to the team's offensive identity that is interesting.
The true test came in the second half, when the world would see whether that fiery halftime exchange translated into real results on the court. That heated conversation wasn't a sign of dysfunction. It was a turning point where a good team began evolving into a great one. The chemistry forged in that moment of honesty laid the foundation for everything that followed. And then there was the added fuel: Brittney Griner's disrespectful comments about Caitlin Clark from their previous matchup. The Fever hadn't forgotten. In that revenge game against the Atlanta Dream, they made sure Griner felt the consequences of every word. The last time these teams met, Griner didn't just bring physical defense. She crossed the line with verbal jabs that had no place in professional basketball. Those words were still burning in the Fever's memory as they stepped onto court, ready to respond.
But we have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing.
Brittney Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
And Brittney Griner has not commented, which I find significant. I've watched that video countless times, and it sure looks like Brittney Griner says, white girl.
The WNBA should investigate Brittney Griner's seemingly uttering profanities about white girls.
Heading into this game, you could feel the intensity in the air as the Fever players rallied behind their teammate who've been unfairly targeted. This wasn't just another regular season matchup. It was personal. The team came in with a point to prove, determined to show that you don't take shots at their chemistry and walk away unchallenged. They were locked in, united, and ready to send a loud, unmistakable message.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I think that our team has enough offensive threats that we should have 5 to 6 people in double figures every single night when we move the ball. When the ball is popping, we're a really hard team to guard. Again, we have to be disciplined on defense. We can get easy buckets in transition, but I think offensively, when the ball is popping, we're a hard team to guard in the W.
This win wasn't just about taking down Atlanta. It was a statement that the Fever can rise above internal tensions and outside pressure to deliver when it counts. Coach Stephanie White spoke about the team's growth and their shift toward prioritizing the we over me, the exact mindset championship teams adopt in tough moments. With more than half the season still ahead, there's time to build chemistry, solidify rotations, and find their rhythm. And if this game was any indication, the potential is massive.
All starts with communication. It really starts at practice with defensive scout, locking in, knowing personnel, and we haven't been very good at that this year. You've seen spurts of it that we were really good, but again, our word is like consistency, together and consistency. And so for us, it's being aggressive at the point of attack. And I really do think that when we're aggressive from the jump, it sets a tone for the whole game. And so sucks to suck. It's on the starting 5 to kind of do that. So good luck, Kels. But I really do think that when we're in it together and we're aggressive on both ends, we're just a really tough team.
What the Fever did in the second half wasn't just impressive. It was a masterclass in how championship caliber teams respond under pressure. Scoring 59 points in the final 24 minutes, they nearly doubled Atlanta's output and tied their highest scoring half in the past 7 seasons. This wasn't about luck or getting hot. It was pure, focused execution. The Fever made critical adjustments, locking down Jordan Canada after she lit them up for 26 in the first half, and completely flipped the game's momentum. That's what great teams do. They identify problems and solve them fast. This win proved that when the Fever are healthy and playing as one unit, they've got the talent and chemistry to go toe-to-toe with anyone in the league. The joy, connection, and energy on their faces said it all. This team isn't just building wins, they're building something special. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a comment. I've got the Fever. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment. Click the video on screen, and we'll see you in the next one.